This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is the one that everybody wants, me.
Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my idol. You're going to acknowledge me.
All right, everybody, guys and girls, welcome back to another edition of the SmackDown Review right here on the WWE Podcast. As always, I am one of the hosts here on the show, Michael Ritter. You can find me on Twitter at Michael5Ritter and on Instagram at MichaelRitter5. Also the host of the Football Function Podcast. Joining me on today's episode, the co-host of this show, like usual, John Carrasco. John, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Appreciate that. And, just kind of rolling with the day. I know me and you kind of had a pretty good week of work and everything, so I understand like the lag that we got right now. But other than that, yeah, just going with it.
Yeah, basically to kind of give you guys a little bit of a disclaimer here. Yesterday, me and John actually unloaded $25,000 worth of flowers. Now, just to like kind of put it in perspective, we unloaded about, 28 racks. Stay with me here. 28 racks. Each rack has about 7 shelves. And each shelf has about,
Say about 8.
Yeah, about 8 flats. And the flats are like 24 individually cupped flowers, like pansies or like begonias, things like that, just flower talk here for you. But basically, there were over 1,000 flats. So, you do the math. That's like an unbelievable amount of flowers that we had to unload. And obviously, we had a lot of help doing it. But no matter how long the assembly line is and how many people you're passing them to, that'll wear you down. And then followed by today, just having an extremely long day. I mean, I was tired at 8 a.m. Just to kind of be transparent here. I was absolutely I'm already ready for bed tonight. So, coming off of a little bit of a tiresome, or I guess exhausting week is one way to put it. And then obviously, and we're not even done yet. We got to work tomorrow. That's the kind of a little bit of what we wanted to preface this show by saying is we do apologize if we don't have our fastball tonight, if we don't necessarily go in depth as we typically do, because it's late. I mean, just being honest here, it is 11 o'clock exactly p.m. when we're starting recording this after SmackDown aired, obviously. But because we have to work in the morning, recording the show in the morning like I used to do sometimes isn't really an option right now. So we're going to go ahead and just do what we have to do, which is pump this baby out a little bit later. That way you guys don't have to wait all day on Saturday and it messes up the schedule. We don't like doing that. We want to be reliable and we want to be dependable in this situation. Like we said, we're the last leg up here on the relay, so we got to do our part and bring this bad boy home. But is there anything you need to say, John? Anything you need to plug or anything like that before we get started here on the show?
Not too much, man. I just want to give a shout out to all the listeners and everything like that, and to all the new Patreon members that have joined recently. Yeah, I want to welcome all y'all and everything. So it's good to see all the newcomers and everything. But not too much. Yeah, just want to go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, I mean it is nice seeing all the new people that Matt says, hey, we got this new Patreon member, and gives them a little bit of a shout out. Honestly, makes me as a podcast creator and as a content creator, it makes me jealous. I'm like, dude, I freaking wish my podcast was growing like Matt says,
right.
So it's motivating. And just a little bit of a shout out to all you listeners out there. Help your brother out. Go over there and listen to Football Function if you haven't already. But anyways, we can go ahead and get into this SmackDown. It's, took place April 22nd, 2022 from Albany, New York. A little bit of a side note here. Albany might actually be the birthplace of the WWE podcast. I know that is Matt's hometown, and I don't know for sure if that is where the show was actually created from. I feel like it's pretty safe. It's a pretty safe bet to say that the show was basically created in Albany, New York. So a little bit of a, a nice little shout out there, seeing them show up there in New York State. But what do you think about the way this episode started with, like, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair supposed to have this contract signing, but the contract isn't there. All of a sudden, Drew Gulak runs out. Obviously, they go back and forth on the mic, kind of, have a little bit of war of words, if you will. And then eventually the table gets flipped over by Charlotte. A kendo stick is underneath that table, just waiting. Wonder who put it there. Charlotte picks it up, starts swinging it. Eventually, Ronda Rousey gets it. She starts swinging it. Charlotte gets out of the ring, and then Drew Gulak gets put in the armbar. Sorry, see, I told you guys, it's already late. We're on the first freaking segment here, and I'm already stumbling out of the gate. But anyways, Drew Gulak gets put in the armbar, and while he's in the armbar, Ronda Rousey is signing that contract. So, what did you take away from this? Are you excited for this I Quit match? Do you think that there's a chance Charlotte loses?
Well, I mean, I'm not too excited for it. I mean, I'm, kind of with the build and everything for it. Of course, I'm ready for it to kind of get past it. Maybe see Charlotte go into some, maybe like a Raquel.
Raquel Rodriguez, yeah. We didn't see her tonight, did we?
Oh, she was in there. She had her little, like, video package and stuff like that. So, a little bit.
You may have to fill me in, catch me up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it wasn't much. Yeah, just kind of like showed her in, like,
nice
matches and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, not a cameo, but yeah, definitely an in-ring little battle and stuff like that.
Video package for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, other than that, man, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's kind of just like dragging itself, and I don't know. I'm kind of just ready for it to be over, Ronda, need to go to the back of the line like how Charlotte had said last week.
Yeah.
I don't want to quote-unquote that, but,
Yeah, and see, the thing with me is I feel like it's weird because their WrestleMania match was so polarizing. I heard multiple people say, oh, this is one of my favorite matches of the entire card. And then, like, me personally, I was like, this match was one of the worst. I mean, I was there. The crowd felt flat. You knew what was next. Everybody was literally just hoping this match would end very quickly because we wanted to see the Kevin Owens show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's like the crowd feeling, right? Mm-hmm. People in front of me were literally going to get merch during that match because, I mean, that's like the best time to do it, to be honest. Like, if you're fine with taking that L, like, and saying, all right, I'm never going to get in this line. I'm never going to be able to get to the actual merch stand if I do it in the typical times, the traditional times, which is like before the show starts, in the quote-unquote intermission, or after the show. Those are the times when the line is just, I mean, you're not getting in there. There's 50 people in front of you, If you can just kind of take that L, if you can just say, all right, I'm going to have to miss a match. Which match can I say, all right, I'll go back and rewatch that on TV, or I'm fine with not having that experience. That's when you go wait in the line. And that's what some people did. They literally went back. They were still able to see the finish of the match. And then, obviously, were able to watch the badass main event, which was the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing. But the whole reason I went on that little story was to tell you that this match was kind of a stinker at WrestleMania. And it left a bad taste in people's mouth. So they do have a chance. The stakes are raised a little bit. It's not like a situation where, like Ronda mentioned, Charlotte can be saved by anybody because she has to literally say, I quit. And Charlotte was kind of being a little bit like, I don't know if it was just me. It's one of the things that kind of get underneath my skin. But whenever she was just saying, like, I beat you at WrestleMania. I beat you. She kept repeating it no matter what Ronda was saying. I'm not good in those situations. I would have flipped the table in that moment if I was Ronda Rousey. But that's just kind of how I feel about that situation.
That was kind of funny. I was going to say, man, I'm glad that Ronda's mic time was very minimal. That was kind of good right there. It kind of seemed, she was just kind of talking off mic, to Ronda, and I was like, okay, I'm cool with that, But what the heck did Drew Gulak do to them, I was like, gosh dang, dude, getting beat up by both these women.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, dude, is it's like, number one, what would you rather do? Would you rather get the airtime, be involved in this SmackDown Women's Championship picture, and I'll get back to that here in just a little bit, or would you rather be in the back, not being utilized at all? So I agree. What the hell did you do? Like, why are you on Charlotte's bad side? And they just keep talking about, like, Ronda mentioned, don't be mean to the new intern. What are you doing? Like, new intern? What the hell are you talking about? Like, this is not an intern. He's just going from a in-ring role to a, I guess, more of a broadcasting role, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, you know, what they correspondent. That's a better word. But anyways, yeah, I don't really know what Drew did, but what I was saying just a little bit ago about the SmackDown Women's Championship, did you notice how Ronda Rousey didn't say that? Like, I forgot when it was. She botched a promo like weeks ago, and she forgot to say SmackDown Women's Championship, and she like went on this little tangent. Well, why is it even called Women's anyway? Well, if you notice, I don't know. I bet Matt will notice, but in this episode of SmackDown, whenever she was talking about it, she actually said, I'm going to take that SmackDown title from you. Like that's what she referenced it as, the SmackDown title. She didn't say women again. So I literally think like that's a thing. Like that's not just like a one-time little slip up. I literally think that she probably feels that way about, well, it shouldn't be women's championship. It should just be championship, you know, like in the UFC, it's not the women's bantamweight or whatever it is, you know. I don't really know exactly how that's, I'm not a UFC guy.
I mean, it's still split by classes, though, you know?
Yeah, it's split by classes, but I guess it's not just like, it doesn't have the title women right there in front. You know, I guess that's kind of what separates it. And I'm not necessarily saying that I, like, agree with Ronda. I'm just trying to see how she's viewing it. You know, I don't want to just think that she's just an absolute airhead who's just kind of, you know, pulling stuff out of her, you know what, for no reason. But we can go ahead and move on to the actual first match that happened tonight, Butch versus Xavier Woods. This one actually delivered a little bit. I feel like it over-delivered from what I was expecting anyways. I know that they're both talented. I just didn't really expect this to be one of those, you know, matches that had me actually intrigued from start to finish. And this was, I mean, like you guys know, like we said a little bit earlier, I was dead, like from this work day. So being able to keep my attention, even though it was early in the show, it was actually kind of difficult. Just to, you know, I was just like, man, I am dragging here. But I really did enjoy this match. What's it called? Xavier Woods ends up winning with the backwoods. They reference it. That's officially what that little roll-up's going to be called. I mean, at least it's something. You know, at least it's not just the typical roll-up and they're just doing it to get an easy way out. They're actually putting it part of Xavier Woods' gimmick, I guess. They're making it part of his character, part of his moveset or whatever. However you want to view it. But Butch does freak out after this loss, and he attacks the security guard, leaves through the crowd. More uncontrolled lunatic behavior from Butch.
Oh, yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, man, I mean, like you said, it was a good match and everything like that. And, of course, like, from the very beginning, man, I was ready for, or not ready, but hoping that Butch would be, you know, beat, you know, just because, like, the way that he's been, like, going about everything, you know, like how you turn, or I wouldn't say how you turn it on your own people, but kind of, you know, getting frustrated and everything like that just because you're losing, you know, it just kind of seems like kind of bad, you know, like bad character. But I don't know, at the end, I kind of felt like, I don't know, like he was leaving, like that whole like exit that he did, like leaving out of that like certain tunnel and stuff like that. I felt like that was like his, like, I wouldn't say goodbye, but like being gone from like SmackDown or WWE in general. You know, that's just kind of how I took it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of took it maybe as like a symbolic way to maybe leave that group, maybe to distance himself from those two dudes. Maybe.
But for what though?
I don't know, because I mean, I definitely know he's not leaving. I definitely know he's not leaving the company. No, he's a young star. They're actually starting to push him. They're giving him this program with his own guys. So you know, it's eventually going to lead to them turning on each other. But that's the thing I don't know either. You know, I don't really understand this whole approach. They're just trying to make him look like he's, you know, uncontrollable. That's basically it.
It kind of just puts like a bad taste in my mouth for him, you know, like for the long term. I guess you could say, like, just, you know, knowing him from what, like this last 2 months maybe. I don't know, just kind of bad, you know, bad vibes from him.
If I didn't previously know who he was in NXT and this was the only exposure I had to this guy over the past couple of months, I absolutely would not be in on it. I'd be like, I mean, it's just not my type of, you know, wrestler, I guess.
Yeah.
Just not my style. But anyways, we can go ahead and move on to another match, Gunther versus Teddy Goods. Obviously just a local enhancement talent, but he did, at least according to Pat McAfee, he said this on the broadcast, that he won a 100-man Royal Rumble to earn that spot against Gunther, which he eventually got squashed. And I will say, just go look at some highlights of Gunther from his days in the NXT UK, even like just like a year ago or something like that. Like, he has slimmed down a lot. Like, he looks noticeably different. Like, I don't know how much weight he cut, but I mean, he does. He looks great, phenomenal shape. You know how basically how highly I've spoken about this guy off air, kind of just whenever we're talking about it, and I really think there are some pretty big things in store for him, hopefully on SmackDown, because we need this type of star power and this type of like I feel like SmackDown is the show that can kind of develop stars that are right there on the cusp, like from absolute like superstardom, but they're kind of just right there. They're popular. They have their own fan base, kind of like Bianca Belair, right? She had her fan base in NXT. She got called up to SmackDown, won the Royal Rumble, went on to beat Sasha Banks at WrestleMania. You know, now she's an established star. Like, she is, without a doubt, one of the top women in the company right now. And I feel like Gunther, the fact that he was overseas, if you talk to people over there, I mean, he's like Adam Cole over there. You know, he is like one of the most popular wrestlers that there is. But a lot of people here in the United States they don't really care about that. You know, like, they're not really familiar with him. They just see this ginormous dude. So if WWE can do right out of the gate, you know, get a nice little first impression of Gunther in our minds, and I feel like they're doing a decent job of that. He's polished on the mic. His gimmick is absolutely flawless. I mean, he looks like a general. He really does. I mean, he just looks like a top guy, and I think there are pretty big things in store for him on SmackDown.
Oh yeah, and like how you were saying about the general thing, like how he stands. That's how I take from it, you know. So I kind of agree with that. But man, that Teddy guy, bro, I mean, Teddy Goods, like
Goods with a Z.
That's kind of horrible to win 100-man Royal Rumble and then have to be, just beaten.
Yeah,
completely up, dude. He got some nasty like backhands, everything.
Some chops. That's Gunther. That's his signature thing.
Oh, chops. Okay, yeah, that was some nasty. Yeah. I was like, gosh, dang, dude. I was like, I don't know about all that. I'd rather be volunteered to be like one of the guys in the Lumberjack.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know. I kind of think that like maybe Butch should have had this role too. To be introduced to me. Like I kind of felt like that would have been better and stuff like that. But, I mean, this dude, he's just totally dominating. Like you said, I can kind of see him, like, maybe matching up with Roman Reigns one time.
Yeah. I want to see that for sure.
That would be two beasts going at it, like, in my, view and everything. Because, like, if Roman's taking some shots like that, I guarantee he's not just going to, like, back down from anything. Just,
Yeah.
He's going to turn it up a notch.
And if there's ever an opportunity here for Roman Reigns to turn babyface during this championship run, and it's unlikely. I really feel like that. I feel like they're going to milk this heel run as long as they possibly can until inevitably a babyface champion takes it off of him. But if there is some way, shape, or form that he is still the champion as a babyface, Gunther is a perfect heel opponent for him that I feel like you can get like a 6-month program out of, and really kind of milk that program for what it's worth, and I think you'd actually get some pretty good benefits from it. Continuing on here, we'll move on to the Xia Lee promo. This little backstage thing where she talks about how she's protected people in the past, and now she's only going to be she's not going to be protecting anybody else but her. This is a heel thing to say. She's turning heel 100%. This is kind of like what Shotzi Blackheart did whenever she turned heel. So, I mean, we haven't seen her on TV in a while. I was literally thinking this the other day. I was like, where the hell is Xia Lee at? But here we go. I mean, my questions were answered. She's getting repackaged. So likely no more graphics or anything like that. It's probably going to be more of a dark entrance. You could expect something different for sure about Xia Lee's character. But are you for this? Do you think that she'll be better off as a heel? I mean, SmackDown definitely needs the heels, especially with Lacey Evans returning as a babyface.
I mean, I would definitely like it. I mean, I kind of felt like the protector roles are okay, but I kind of feel like her being heel would be a better advantage for her.
That's what I know her as, or at least that's what I thought I did back whenever she was on NXT, because I wasn't too familiar, but I'm pretty sure that's who it was. But anyways, we can go ahead and move on to Matt Riddle versus Jay Uso. Entertaining match. We've kind of seen these teams go back and forth in like main event matches. So it's no surprise whenever these two put on a pretty good show. Mm-hmm. But I will say the neck breaker that Jay Uso hit on Matt Riddle, and Riddle kicked out of it. That was crazy as hell. Like, because that neck breaker that Jay Uso hit, number one, I had to rewind it. I was like, wait, what the hell was that? Phenomenal job by Jay. I honestly don't think I've seen him do that, at least in a long time. I can't remember anyways. So you love to see that. But Matt Riddle does, like, kind of roll him up and get the win. And that makes 2 weeks in a row that the Bloodline loses to Matt Riddle. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it was definitely a good match, man. I mean, they definitely, went at it and everything. So, I mean, they're putting on a good show for me. I'm not, mad at it or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, but I didn't expect the Usos to take a loss this time. And I was kind of hoping that they'd bounce back and everything. But, I mean, it is what it is, kind of see what's going to follow through and everything. So, yeah, I'm on board with it.
As am I. Well, up next here on the dock, Kayla Braxton is interviewing the women's tag team champions, Naomi and Sasha Banks. They finally said that they have a name for that move, that little tag team move that they do. And I remember thinking in my head, I need to write this down, but I don't know why I didn't. And I definitely should have. But anyways, all this interview is pretty much just like Sasha claiming that they don't have any competition. I was waiting to see who was going to come out. It ends up being Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Mm-hmm. Likely going to get a program there. Do you think that this team has any possibility to take the belts off Naomi and Sasha?
Yeah, I definitely don't see them losing the belt anytime soon. But I do see like a good matchup coming, between these two tag teams right here. So definitely not mad at that. I am kind of, just getting, kind of annoyed by the comment that Natalya uses by the 3 Guinness World Records and everything like that. I mean, come on.
It was funny how Naomi kind of roasted her, though. How she did. She was like, what, for terrible dancing videos and all your cat videos and things like that. Just a little, she had a little bit of fun with the whole Guinness World Record thing.
She was definitely doing good on the mic, Sometimes I think it's kind of like a forced thing for her too, but I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely see positive things coming from this little pairing, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, just think of like the one-on-one combinations you're gonna get. Like you're gonna get Shayna versus Sasha, Shayna versus Naomi, and then Natalya versus Sasha, Natalya versus Naomi. You're gonna get a bunch of different variations of these two teams going at it for weeks to come. Mm-hmm. Kind of similar to what we've seen like with Carmella and Zelina Vega and Rhea Ripley and Liv. Whenever they were doing that over there on Raw. So I feel like we can kind of get a little bit of something similar. Ultimately going to have probably a WrestleMania Backlash blow-off, which I do expect Sasha Banks and Naomi to retain those championships. Let's see, though. Up next, we get Madcap Moss versus Angel Garza. Madcap definitely wins this. He continues to win with the punchline, and then he's attacked from behind by Baron Corbin. And Corbin steals his trophy. Now, before this match, there was like an interaction backstage where Baron Corbin was like trying to get him to come back or something like that. What did you take away from that?
Well, I mean, I thought that was freaking great, because it kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say like it kind of just like rubbed it in his face, that he's doing good, but I don't know, like I felt like just Corbin, I mean, he like you said, he did the manly thing, kind of stepped up. Apologize, I guess you could say, and even asked for him to come back, But Madcap, he's striving right now, so I kind of felt like he did the right thing at that time and stuff, Kind of made a little joke about him, about his hair and everything like that. So that was definitely funny. Got a little chuckle about it. I don't know, man. I think he did the right thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then obviously getting another win. Like we said, Madcap Moss, I truly feel like he's benefiting from Rick Boog's injury because Boogs was going to get a nice little push. I truly believe that. But one thing that's weird is the whole Shinsuke Nakamura thing. Like that happened a few weeks ago, whenever Shinsuke came out and Roman Reigns gave him that hug, that little fake hug.
Oh yeah.
And they just had that double super kick and they just kind of, beat him down a little bit. But I feel like it's kind of weird that they never touched back on that. I don't know why. I guess just talking about the Boogs thing kind of reminded me. Was Shinsuke a lumberjack in that whole little...
Yeah, he was.
Right.
He was over there dancing and stuff with Xavier Woods. And Kofi.
All right, so having a little bit
funny.
of a good time, but I mean, it's just, man, I really thought he was going to get a championship match there. I really did. I guess I was a little bit off, but you know, it is what it is. But I truly feel like Madcap Moss is just reaping the benefits. That little open spot. I mean, when one door closes, another one opens. Somebody has to step up. It's like a next man up mentality. That's what happens. You know, you got to be ready for those opportunities, and I feel like Madcap definitely can make the most out of this. I'm glad to see him get the win. Eventually, I mean, WrestleMania Backlash, that card could end up looking pretty decent, especially if we get a Baron Corbin versus Madcap match.
That'd be interesting. I'm definitely ready for that. So I kind of see where it's going, you know, just because how he had attacked him and everything. But is it me, or do you think that Madcap's song, or, you know, entrance song sounds like a game show song?
It does.
I was like, what the heck? Whenever he like came out to, I was like, come on, man, we got to change that at least, you know.
They definitely got to change that. I know they will at some point, but I kind of noticed that one of the times that I was actually there in person. But yeah, let's just hope that song gets changed ASAP. So, what's up?
I was just gonna say, man, I do like how he is handling these like 2v1 like situations that he's getting into with the Los Lotharios, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think he's doing real good, man. I'm definitely on board with it.
Yeah, you've been on that Madcap train for a while now, so I'm glad to see that it is actually paying off there. But hey, I might need you to fill me in on this one. Sami Zayn shows up at Roman Reigns' locker room. Now they kind of saw RK Bro talking to Drew McIntyre earlier in the show, right? Sami Zayn's kind of peeking back there. He's kind of hiding. And he just kind of has that look on his face, like, "Ooh, I just got the scoop, you know, like I got some dirt on someone or whatever it is." But we kind of get a nice little interaction, a nice little encounter with Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Them two have had their history, and they say, "Hey, you're good with me, bro." So that was nice to see. But Sami Zayn ends up showing up at Roman Reigns' locker room. What the hell happened here? What was going on?
Well, I mean, you know, they were all just in there, just chilling, basically. You know, Roman was kind of mad at Jay Uso
for losing and
stuff. So he, you know, Jay was just off there. I mean, can't let that happen and stuff like that, you know. But I mean, Paul Heyman, he comes in, kind of like says that we have a visitor. You know, Sami Zayn wants to come in and stuff like that. So they kind of transition the camera over to him, and he's saying that, you know, that he, like you had said, he had heard some scoop, you know, some stuff that was said about, you know, about his family and stuff like that. And, you know, Roman kind of took that, you know, of course, personally, you know. So he tells the Usos to go out during the Lumberjack and, you know, basically tell, or not tell, you know, get him and his family out of the
keep their name, keep
Bros.
his name out of their mouth.
Yeah, out of their mouths, you know. So, you know, he kind of gave some direct orders right there. So, I mean, that's basically what happened. But I kind of take it, you know, like, Sami Zayn, what are you doing, man? Kind of like, is Roman Reigns like Godfather around here? You know,
snitches get stitches.
I was like, come on, man, you over here asking for like favors for like protection and stuff like that. You know, that's what I kind of took, like, like Paulie from like Goodfellas type stuff. You know, I was like, what the heck, you know? So then, I mean, I was like, that's kind of cool, but I mean, like you said, you know, snitch get stitches, you know, in a way, you know, and he does kind of have like that rat. I don't know. You know, nickname, I guess you could say, or whatever they're trying to say, you know.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I kind of see that kind of going on right now. That's kind of funny.
Yeah, it definitely does kind of set the stage for the main event, what we're all kind of looking forward to. And we'll get there here in just a second. Before we do that, though, I think we have one more thing to talk about, and that is Chapter 3, the story of Lacey Evans. So we're not going to go in depth about this because I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm all here for like a good, feel-good story. I love... you know, people, you know, spilling their heart out, you know, kind of telling you how they feel about certain things, getting things off their chest, especially, you know, if they don't have somebody to talk to and it just feels better, you know, to kind of vent a little bit. But this is getting to the point where I'm like, all right, you know, like, what the hell's going on here? You know, we get it. Let's just go ahead and how about, I mean, how many chapters are there, number one? Like, is there 12 chapters? Like, I mean, I really want to know what's in store here. We need to know exactly. I mean, if I'm reading a book, I'm going to figure out how long it is, you know, before I start it. So I need to know. Like, do I need to buckle up here? Are we going to, you know, we're going to continue on? Are you going to tell us about your high school life and your college life, everything that happened whenever you were a Marine and all that stuff? Training to be a professional wrestler. I mean, I'm fine with it. Just let us know what the heck's going on here because, I mean, I'm going to be honest, all this stuff is just getting a little bit like, where are we going with this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, okay, we understand. Like, you had a very troubled past, and it kind of explains why you're as, like, you know, as strong-willed as you are. You know, this tough, independent woman, you know, who I wouldn't want to see in a dark alley. I can tell you right now, she's probably roundhouse kicking me right in the face, you know? So it is what it is. I'm just saying, like, it's not like I'm against this, so I don't want to come off as, like, wow, this dude's an a-hole. Like, he doesn't care about her little sob story here that's going on. Because I do. I relate to some of the stuff she's saying. I feel like that is, you know, it's hitting home to you know, obviously certain people out there. I'm not trying to crap on it or anything like that. I'm just saying from, like, a production company. Like, I mean, it's been 3 weeks now. I mean, I'm all for a slow build. But I would like to see her in the ring. I would like to see her in person, not even necessarily in a match. Mm-hmm. Come out. Let's see your entrance. Let's see your theme music, your new theme, all that good stuff. I want to see her in person. That's just basically what I'm trying to say. And maybe she's not ready yet. Maybe they're kind of just slowly working her in, and we will get her eventually. But I guess because I can't really break down exactly, like, each chapter, like, what she's saying, excuse me, without, like, going just, like, word for word. And I mean, she goes on. A lot of the stuff I wouldn't even want to repeat. But, I don't know. I guess that's just kind of how I feel about it.
Well, I mean, definitely, like, kind of on board with that, you know. Just because, like, I wouldn't want to take away from her. I mean, of course, there's all these other women in the, you know, locker room that, you know, deserve some type of play, you know. So
they ain't no better than her.
I was going to say, but, I mean.
Sorry.
I don't know, man. I feel like, you know, it's just being, I don't know, kind of, like, put on us, you know, like, forced, you know. So, I mean, of course, we have to see this. And I don't know, I just kind of feel like now it's just like the stories are just kind of like overlapping, you know, kind of like repeating itself, I guess you could say. I mean, not really taking like anything new from it. I mean, just taking it as a sad story.
I had to go back and double check, make sure Lacey Evans wasn't in One Tree Hill. All the stuff that she's been through, just kind of right up their alley. You know?
I'm saying, man, I mean, she's definitely like, yeah, for a woman, she's went through like a lot, you know. I mean, so much to like endure as a kid and everything like that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. This one's like something that's in the air for me.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they can kind of, you know, reel me back in next week when we get Chapter 4. We'll kind of see what happens there. But I want to see things go from like, okay, like we persevered, we went through some stuff, we got there, cool. You guys can kind of relate to me now. Mm-hmm. To like, okay, I'm here to kick some ass. Like, who's going to step up in front of me? I'm a babyface. All right, well, let's get it. You know, who wants to go at it? Like, as far as all these, you know, heel wrestlers that are on the roster, because there definitely is no shortage of heels. Mm-hmm. But let's see. What's next? Oh, yeah. Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn, a Lumberjack match. Now, what did you think about it? Because this was your first Lumberjack match to watch. Like, what wasn't it? I mean, at least, like, live, you know. I mean, you probably seen some highlights of some back in the day, but what did you think about your first one watching, like, in the moment?
Well, for this one, I mean, I guess with everything going on, I mean, it was more like fun to, you know, it was entertaining to watch, you know, just because like everything that was happening outside of the ring rather than inside the ring, you know. Like we had Sheamus and Ridge Holland, and every time Drew got knocked out, rather than helping him back in, you know, they were beating him up out there, you know. So I don't know, I felt like just like a good involvement from everybody, you know, even whenever they went at it with Xavier Woods and Kofi on the side and everything, and then RK Bro and the Usos whenever they came out, you know, it was more of an outside thing for me. So yeah. I guess like as the Lumberjack match, I guess it didn't like live up to its like potential. Yeah, I guess you could say. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it was something that kept me involved.
Yeah, and just like the concept of it, right? Mm-hmm. You know, having this match and then all the people on the outside, because it does, like you said, it provides like other little situations, other storylines that are going on outside of the ring. Because you have the actual match, the actual story that's being told in the ring, and then all these little side attractions on the outside. So it is entertaining. You mentioned it. Roman Reigns gave him that order to keep his name out of their mouth and for them to make sure of it, them being the Usos. So they hit Riddle with a double super kick. You could expect that to come with a receipt, whether it is on Monday night, next week on SmackDown. You could expect probably an RKO to happen at least some point, whether it's from Orton or Riddle breaks his out. We'll see. But you can definitely expect the Usos, or maybe even Roman Reigns. Who knows? Somebody, though, from the Bloodline is going to pay for that one. I could definitely see that coming. But let's see how this match actually ends up ending. Oh, yeah, it's Sami Zayn. He escapes through the crowd, and Adam Pearce is right there. It's like he knew it was going to happen. He just comes out immediately. He has it ready to go. He says that next week they're going to go one-on-one in a steel cage match, so Sami Zayn can't run away. Like, I don't know about you. I don't know if I mentioned it last week on the show. Whenever they said they were having a lumberjack match, I thought it was gonna be a steel cage. Like I was like, why are you skipping the? Why are you? I mean, let's just get there. You know, like he's gonna run away. Obviously, okay, I get it. Now you want to book. You want to double book, right? You want to book this week and next week. So we got to get through it. To get to the steel cage, we got to get to the lumberjack. So I understand that. I guess I just saw the destination coming, and the steel cage just made sense. So I'm excited for that. Drew McIntyre's probably going to absolutely put a beating on Sami Zayn. He can't run away. He's not going to be able to bribe anybody to give him protection, nothing like that. He doesn't have any goonies that I know of. So he got away tonight, but likely will not get away next week. But Drew McIntyre does get attacked after this match by Shanky and Jinder Mahal, but those two dudes get their asses kicked like usual. So what'd you think about this lumberjack match main event, and then obviously just the whole? I mean, you already basically told me about the lumberjack match. So I guess what'd you think about the steel cage match? That whole stuff being announced.
Okay, yeah, just rewind a little bit. At the very beginning of this, I don't know. I mean, if anybody else saw this, but did you notice like a little like wet spot on Sami Zayn's pants?
Like, where at on his pants?
Like as if he like peed his pants.
I didn't, but that is
dude.
Sami Zayn is so good. He's such like a method actor and like all that. I could see him putting it there.
I don't know if that was because it was like a perfect circle, you know. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. It was just funny. I don't know if like, oh yeah, of course, if you had picked up on it, it was just something for me to see. And like you said, it might have been something that like strategic that he did. I don't know, but if he did, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just something that I had picked up on, and then. I don't know, man.
It takes balls to go out there and basically portray that you just pissed your pants, you know, not even change your pants, just go out there and do your match, you know.
Like especially for him to come out with like the amount of energy that he did, you know, it was just funny. Like I don't know, it was just something.
Drake Maverick, he actually pissed his pants not too long ago, at least like in recent memory, a couple years. I'm not really sure what it was, but
yeah,
you usually that's like a character suicide type. Like, you don't recover from that. When you piss your pants on national television, like, that's the thing is he comes out with a piss stain or whatever, like, in the front of his thing. Like, all right, cool. He pissed his pants because he's scared to fight Drew McIntyre, but he came out here and did it. But in other situations where, like, Drake Maverick's case, he was kind of standing in the ring and the Authors of Pain or something. I forgot exactly what happened. Somebody came out and, he was just shivering there and pissed his pants. I was just like, man, poor Drake. Like, he has a family, you know. That's terrible to see. But, I mean, I think that would be good. Like, I would rather this be a situation where we find out, like, did Sami Zayn piss his pants? Like, and it's just a whole new conspiracy theory going on. Yeah,
man, it was just funny. But, yeah, like, for it to, like, evolve to this, you know, steel cage, you know, like you said, you had mentioned, and I had wrote it down and everything. I was like, man, he was kind of, like, right on point with that. I was like, okay, I guess this has some like insider that I don't got, you know. But I mean, of course, yeah, you probably do. But yeah, I think that it's going to be, you know, a well, what would you say, like, great match. Let me just say that. Yeah. I mean, especially
for lack of better words. Yeah,
especially for him not to be able to get away and everything. But I mean, if he does somehow get out of this, dude, it's going to be freaking crazy, you know.
Yeah, without a doubt. Sami Zayn being in the main event, I'm here for it. Likely going to be the main event next week. Even though it was like pre-recorded from what I heard on the Discord server. But anyways, that does do it for us here on the SmackDown review. John, is there anything you got to say? Any shout-outs, any plugs, anything like that before we officially sign off?
Well, I mean, I just want to say, you know, thanks for all the listeners, you know, that continuously come back. And like I said at the beginning, all the new people that have, like, joined Patreon, of course, like the Discord server and everything like that. I mean, it's great to see, like, all these people, you know, interacting and getting involved, I guess you could say. But definitely want to give you a shout-out, man. Appreciate you for allowing me to do this with you every week. You know, I say this every time, but, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I still don't see the big picture in all this. I mean, of course, doing this with you. I mean, but I mean, like I said, it's a bigger, platform than what I think. So I mean, definitely grateful for the opportunity and everything like that, and definitely want to give a shout out for your football function, man. Definitely going in good direction with all this, and hopefully, you get some good Patreon members, following all over from here, because this reaches out to a lot of people. So I mean, if you're into football and everything like that, this is definitely something that you want to tune into. Football function, all platforms that you listen to this show on. So yeah, it's definitely available everywhere. So yeah, just want to close it out like that.
I appreciate it. You definitely appreciate those plugs, and I appreciate you joining me on a weekly basis. I know the listeners do as well. The show, it's not like it was getting stale, but you could feel like the rejuvenation once you came here, and the format kind of changed a little bit. So obviously appreciate the consistency,
sir.
The work you put in, obviously with providing equipment and all that stuff, and just always being on time and all that good stuff. Definitely, I know Matt appreciates it. I know I do as well. And I mean, you're a personality here. I mean, it's not. I mean, this is a community. This is a world, like the WWE podcast world. There's a mailbag. People from all different countries, because not everybody calls into the mailbag. That's one thing I will say. Like, yeah, we see dozens of people who kind of, put their voices out there, send in emails, make themselves part of the show. But, dude, there are, like, literally thousands of listeners who don't call in. So those are the ones who I like to say shout out to you guys. No, I mean, obviously, shout out to the ones who, participate every week on the mailbag. You guys are truly part of the show, and I look forward to that. But the ones who, don't get the recognition, don't get their name called specifically, because they don't actually, call in or anything like that. Shout out to you. Hopefully you will continue to do this, because obviously there is no off season in the wrestling world. So once this, this next pay-per-view comes, we will get ready for the next one. That's kind of how it goes. Just continue this train, and it will keep rolling. But like usual, I hope you guys have a damn good weekend. Walk passionately in the direction of your dreams, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.